guys, it's Bonnie. Today I am here with my second wrap-up of 2017. My last wrap-up talked about the first 5 books I read in the year. If you didn't see that, I will link it down below. In this video, I'm going to talk about books 6 through 10 that I have read. First, I have Dreamland Burning by Jennifer Latham. This is a book that I have a full review of, so if you would like to see it, I will leave it linked down below. This follows a girl named Rowan who lives in present-day Tulsa and a boy named William who lives in the 1920s Tulsa. One day, Rowan wakes up and discovers that there is a dead body in her backyard, and she wants to investigate who it is, why it happened, all the W questions. So we follow these two people's stories that kind of end up becoming interconnected, and we see how it all plays out, and it's like a mystery, contemporary, really? So it's like a contemporary mystery, and I really enjoyed it. It talks a lot about racism, both in the past, because this was like super racist time period, and then also racism in present day that is still going on even if people want to deny it. Because of how topical it is, I think it's a really important book and I think everyone should check it out. I'm really not hearing anyone talking about this book, and it came out in February, so I would highly suggest go picking it up. I got this arc from the novel, their monthly newsletter giveaway thingamabob. But yeah, I would definitely check this out, give it a read, give me your opinions, because, you know, I'm a privileged person myself, so there could be things in here that I don't pick up on, and I would love to know. The only complaints about this book is that it was kind of predictable. Like, the ending was kind of predictable, especially once you get to a certain part, you're just like, yeah, that's what it's gonna be. However, I still really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next 2 books are the opposite of diverse, but I'm still trash for them, and because they're in the same series, I'm gonna talk about them together. Have you heard of these books? It's by this real indie author named Sarah Jamas. She's new. Obviously, I'm joking, and very badly joking, because I don't think any of you laughed at that. But A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. Why did I go into an accent for that? I don't know. This first book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's about a girl named Feyre who kills a fairy on accident and then gets dragged to live with Tamlin, the High Lord of the Spring Court, in the fairyland world thing that I can't remember the name of. It's a pretty to the book Beauty and the Beast retelling, so to me none of it was really surprising, and that was the biggest issue that I had with it. I guessed a lot of the things that was going to be happening, and it wasn't hard to figure out certain plot points once they were introduced. Like, you know, when the character has to like figure out how to navigate, and you're just like, girl, you do this, but they take like 100 and something pages to do it. However, I really enjoyed the characters. I like Feyre a lot more than I like Selena from Sarah J Maas's other series. It did take me about 2 weeks to read because I was both in a reading slump and the motivation wasn't really there, but I still enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I moved on to this massive behemoth of a book. Oh my god, y'all. Remember when I said, you know, about 2 seconds ago, that A Court of Thorns and Roses took me like 2 weeks, 3 weeks actually, I think, to read? I read half of this book in one sitting, and it's 600 pages long. Want to know why I love this so much more? You already know why. It's Rhys. Rhys and High Lord of the Night Court, my lord and savior. Listen, I was shook. I knew going into this that people really like Rhys instead of Tamlin. However, I often do not like the character that an author tries to make me like. Typically, I reject it completely, like Rowan. Going into this book, I was like, oh my god, what if I'm the only one that doesn't like Rhys? Because it's me. That's typically me. I don't like the character that the author tries to trick you into liking. Who's ever honking, can you please stop? Rhys was completely unexpected. I did not realize that I was gonna fall in love with him so much. I haven't fallen in love with a character as much as I have with Rhys in so long. Like, I thought you were all overhyping this guy. But no. I don't think I even really talked about this book besides being like Rhys, but like that's all I can think of. So obviously I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And I just love Rhys. I love the Night Court. That's all I have to say. If you haven't read this, you're probably not planning to, or maybe you just haven't gotten to it like me and you're like putting it off, but like, do it. The next book that I read is a reread, and it is A Legend by Marie Lu. I read this book for the first time 5 years ago in 2012. At the time, the other books in the series were not out, and I was like, okay, you know, have to wait. That's a new thing for me at this point in my life. So basically, I never got to the other 2 books. So I wanted to read this so that I could, or reread this so that I could finally move on with the series. And I did. I forgot how short Legend was. For one, it's like 300 pages. I forgot how fast-paced it was. It goes so quick. All of this I really loved about it, and the first time I read this, I gave it 5 stars. This time, I noticed some different things too. One, not as into dystopians anymore, and this is like high-key classic dystopian, and I'm just kind of like, Also, the characters in this are 15, which just seems a little unrealistic to me. I mean, also I still can't get over that they chose this weird font and color for Day's perspectives, because if you didn't know, because I didn't say anything about this book follows a boy named Day and a girl named June. Day is a criminal who is on the run, because that's what you do in a book where the government sucks. And June is a girl who's in the government. She is their prodigy. She is a star. And she decides to go after Day after her brother dies, and she thinks Day's the one that did it. Classic dystopian, government sucks, teenagers rule. I also think that this book could have been a little more detailed. As much as I love how fast-paced it was, there just wasn't a lot of detail with it, and sometimes it was just kind of like rushing through everything a little too much. Could slow down just a little, which is not something I often say. But this book could have used a little more detail. However, I still really enjoyed it, but I did knock it down a star and gave it 4 stars this time instead of 5. Last book that I read I do not have a physical copy of because I listened to it on audiobook, and that is Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. I wanted to read this book, or rather listen to this book, because I love Anna Kendrick. She is just great. I love her acting. I love her tweets. I love her personality. So obviously I wanted to give her book a go. And obviously I listened to it on audiobook because memoirs on audiobook that are read by the author are the best thing ever and the best way to listen to audio. Like, they're the best audiobook experiences in my opinion. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. What a trend, me reading all books that I love this year. When am I gonna read a bad book? I don't know, we'll see. She really hooked me right away. I loved the stories that she told. Thought it was funny. There were moments that I genuinely laughed out loud, and if I genuinely laugh out loud during a book, it's typically a good sign. There are also some parts that were a little cringy and kind of showed her privilege in areas. I had to be like, come on, Anna. But that wasn't the majority of the book, in my opinion. I could relate to a lot of the things that she was saying, even though she's a celebrity. She uses a lot of self-deprecating humor in her book, which I know some people don't like, but for me, that's me. Like, me self-deprecating myself all the time, 100%. So I could really relate to that. And I really like, it's not like I like that style of humor, I get it. So if you don't get it, you may not like this book. And if you don't like Anna Kendrick, you probably won't like this book. However, because I like both of those things, I enjoyed it. Like I said, 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend giving it a listen. These are books 6 through 10 that I read in 2017. Let me know what you have read in 2017 so far, and let me know what your favorite thing that you read in 2017 so far, because I would love to know. Also, tell me your least favorite thing, because I've been reading a lot of good books, so I don't know if I even have a least favorite. Maybe Legend, just because it was like a reread, so it wasn't like, ooh. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will be back with a new video in a relative kind of soon. Yeah, bye.